A vital role you could be asked to do in the world of professional wrestling is enhancement work, and I'm here today to get you prepared for that gig. I'm Mike Quackenbush, this is Till We Make It, and I want to talk about enhancement work right off the top, discussing a term I think we should not be using, and that is jobber. This is a lesson that was imparted to me my very first day in professional wrestling, and if you've not heard it before, I'm happy to be the one discussing it with you right now. But in the industry, that term is an insult. You would be crazy to say that to another professional, whether you respect them or not. And if I walked up to another working professional wrestler and said to them, "Hey, so what are you, some kind of jobber tonight?" I would expect to be knocked out cold on the floor for such an egregious insult. I must have worked for hundreds of pro wrestling organizations over the course of the last couple decades, and I have never, not even once, ever heard an actual working pro refer to another working pro as a jobber. And that word, I think, needs to be abolished from our lexicon. And just so we're clear, doing enhancement work is no kind of insult. It's actually a vital part of what makes professional wrestling. You need matches designed to enhance only one character. They serve a real use. So what is an enhancement, squash, or get-over match? And you may hear these different terms used interchangeably, but they all refer to the same thing. It is a one-act professional wrestling match, different from three-act structure, that is designed to enhance only one of the participants. There are a number of reasons why you might be offered enhancement work. It might be because the organization hiring you believes in your ability to bring out the best traits in a nascent performer or brand new character. They want to get this character off to a great start, but in order to do that, they do have to be paired with the right kind of performer. And not all people are good at the kind of work enhancement jobs demand. So something you want to consider if you've been hired for enhancement work, chances are you're going to want to take the most generic looking gear that you own with you. If you've got plain black trunks and plain black boots, you want to take those. You've got custom gear and boots with your initials on them, leave them at home. So why might you do that? Well, if you've been hired for enhancement work, remember, you are there in service to the other character, to put focus and emphasis on them. So you don't want to do anything that draws attention or focus to you. I really do believe that in the world of professional wrestling, doing enhancement work for someone else is one of the greatest acts of kindness that you can do. And it does demand complete professionalism. People that come to enhancement work imagining that somehow they're going to get something out of it for themselves other than demonstrating what a clear professional they are fooling themselves. Because these are one-act stories. They are not three-act stories. It's not that type of conflict. You are there simply in service to the other character and nothing else. So if you have been hired to do enhancement work, remember that. You may not have an opportunity to get anything in. You may show no offense whatsoever. Squash matches, get-over matches, or enhancement matches usually are given minimal time on a card. That means that everything must be organized very economically, and there may not be any opening for you to contribute anything physical other than being out there, taking the bumps, and making the other person look good. I am sure there are people watching this right now that imagine that there's something demeaning about doing enhancement work, and I could not disagree more strongly. If you are being trusted with that really critical role, if anything, it means the company believes in your ability to make other people look good. And you know what? That's kind of the heart of professional wrestling. Enhancement work is not demeaning. I know what it is to be demeaned in the ring. And I only have to think back to an experience I had when I was starting out in the Pittsburgh Indies 25 years ago, give or take. When a promoter wanted to demean me by sending me out to the ring wearing gear that did not fit, which was not my own, and was all mismatched in terms of its colors. I was meant to look like a buffoon so that I would be embarrassed in front of the audience. I love me a good squash match. I don't want to fool you. And I don't doubt that to the viewer, it might appear as if the person doing the enhancement work is somehow an inferior wrestler because they don't showcase their offensive maneuvers. And yet, you and I no doubt understand that there are tons of examples out there where the far more talented professional is the one doing the enhancement work. Why? Because they know all the veteran tricks to do to enhance the featured talent and make them look like $1 million. You might think that doing enhancement work affords you no opportunity to shine, and maybe to the viewer that seems to be true. But behind the scenes, you may be able to shine quite a bit by demonstrating that you have a really valuable skill set that promoters and bookers can count on anytime they need help getting a new featured talent over. It takes people of all shapes and sizes, all different ability levels, to do good enhancement work. And I happen to know one of my mentors who recently found this channel used to keep a VHS tape that was clearly labeled as his worst of, which is a series of enhancement matches he did back in the 90s for the World Wrestling Federation. I remember a day at his place where he very sheepishly showed me all these matches in which he was being squashed, maybe because he imagined that I would somehow think less of my mentor having seen it. And the truth could not have been any different. I actually ended up having a great deal of respect for him as a result of it, because in each of these matches, he was tasked with making a wrestler of a wildly different style or completely different skill set look awesome, and had to do all of it in less than 3 minutes. So many of the matches we are asked to put together as professional wrestlers fall into one category. They are assembled using 3-act structure, and enhancement work offers a break from that monotony. If you've imagined that you would turn down enhancement work if it ever came your way, I want to encourage you to think differently about it. You may find it is a fun and rewarding exercise that breaks you out of the normal things that you've got to do every time that you're in the ring, and may allow you to showcase different talents that you've cultivated that traditional matches just don't. Yes, there are matches that are done in just 1 act, even though most are done in 3, and some can be done with less. Some eschew that structure entirely in favor of other storytelling elements. And if that sounds like the kind of thing you want to know more about, then you gotta read my book, 7 Keys to Becoming a Better Performer. A book I wrote for fellow pro wrestlers can be yours thanks to the magic of Amazon.com, where you can get it in print or in digital. And you can get it over on Audible.com. It's an audio book, and that means that I will read it directly to your ear holes.